Welcome back, everyone. We are still in the middle of the grand finals here at ESL 1 as we take a look at some sweet replays from Bruce.gg for game number 3 here in the grand finals. And what a game. I mean, we had kills from the very get-go. A little bit of a quicker game, though, compared to the very first one and maybe even the second one there, that GG call coming out right at the end from EG. So we talked briefly, oh man, that trophy and this beautiful stadium, it could all come to an end right here. Guys, we might have to exit the stadium after one more game. That's so sad. I think I'm going to cry, but hopefully that's not going to happen. And yes, that was a clear lie. I'm not really going to cry about that. But Jacob, do you think we will have a 2-2 or will we end 3-1?
I think we'll have a 3-1 because I bet for Secret.
I mean, they could win 3-2 though. It doesn't have to be.
They could. I hope for game 5. I still do. I think it's lovely to see these diverse strategies coming out from both teams. And as we saw in game 1 especially, there's such high-level spell usage that it's just so fun to see every single minute of the game. We saw the quick replay of the game we just saw, and Bounty Hunter died twice to the Mana Void hit on Tinker. I feel so bad for EY. He's just running around Invis and he's like, oh, come on.
Yeah, some really big Mana Voids coming out right there. As we take a look at the players getting ready, EG starting to get a little bit nervous, and Sumail, lots of pressure on this guy. Alan, I mean, what do you think? He performed so well coming into the finals. I mean, he was the star player of EG this tournament until now.
I mean, I think he still is. I think he's done his part in these games. I really do. I thought he kept up with a fairly farmed Anti-Mage that, at least after the first few minutes, had a fairly free time in his lane. I mean, 15-minute Battle Fury. He kept up nicely, but I really felt like the rest of Team Secret just stepped up their game a notch and outplayed EG. I mean, I think this was the first game where I really felt one of the teams took it to the next level and just outperformed. And I mean, EG need to respond, or as we said, the series is going to end. I still think we're going to have a game 5, but we're going to see right here. Yeah,
of course, the picks and bans kicking off in game number 4, and we're still seeing that Queen of Pain being banned out by Evil Geniuses. And again, they're like, all right, Shadow Fiend, we gave it once, we're not going to want to deal with that anymore. And the clock being banned out by Secret, deeming that even though those hooks were missed a little bit, don't want to deal with that. Oh, look at this. Things swapping a little bit on each side. Tusk going over to EG. What do you think, Kai?
Interesting first pick here by EG, but we've seen Universe having a really good performance on the hero as well, so I'm not too surprised seeing that.
Yeah, that, I guess, you know, given what the games we've seen so far in the finals, Ben, do you think this was kind of a go-to for Secret, going with the Naga and the Keeper of the Light?
I mean, the Keeper has just proven to be immensely useful, and there's just so much synergy in between how they play. Like, they have Null Field and the heal from the Illuminate Scepter from the Keeper of the Light to keep down from the Tinker spam and the Shuriken spam. On top of that, they like recall very effectively and use ganks very well. I mean, the Keeper has just been, I mean, they just utilize it so much better than everyone else, I feel like.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm curious to see the Tusk pick, because who better to know how to counter it than the team that utilizes the best. So I think Secret probably has a way of dealing with it already. It was a very quick pickup of the Siren and Keeper of the Light as well, so they probably expected the pickup.
Yeah, that's true. And of course, I mean, Zai, we've been praising his Tusk play all throughout the finals so far. He's really shown what next level things he can do with that hero. And EG now taking a little break, they're like, okay, it looks like Secret really well prepared, and going with the Lion, a little bit more lockdown on the side of EG.
Really neither team committing much, though. I think both teams, you know, they both know this is an elimination game, and very leery of giving away any information here in the first phase. And again, I like the Broodmother ban. We commented on that on the last game. In response, Secret going to go ahead and take out the Sumail Storm Spirit.
I do think with the line pickup that we see here by the side of EG, that they might suspect that Naga is going towards a carry RTC position. I think Naga plus Keeper of the Light does not have the greatest synergy in terms of support duos. So Lion, picking up Lion here, you have 2 spells that deal with illusions very well, and therefore also in combination with Tusk, you have not just a great burst duo, but also something that works well against illusions.
Very true, and this is something we've been contemplating the whole weekend, actually. Are we going to see RTZ pick up that Naga again in these finals? And it looks like this might be that chance. The Razor being banned out this time. People were expecting maybe that'd be the last pick in Game 3. Didn't see it, and we're not going to see it in Game 4 either.
Yeah, you do wonder if this is a setup for a Secret picking up a Bristleback, perhaps, even though we've questioned that hero. I actually think it works pretty nicely with the Naga Siren in terms of just being that tanky, pesky hero hero early in the game, in the mid game, take a little bit of pressure off the Naga if indeed she does end up in a core role.
I mean, there's still so many good heroes left in the pool. We saw PL ban last game when there was a Keeper of the Light picked up. There's still Dazzle, which has a lot of synergy with Naga, and it's pretty good against the Tusk. So, I mean, I'm not particularly sold on the Naga Siren core, personally. I mean, I think even with just like a sleep setup into Keeper Light Blast, that's 500 damage. And especially in a patch where BKBs aren't that prevalent.
Yeah, and it also frees you up once the Keeper gets the Aghanims. It's not just the 500 damage. It frees you up so that if you have the right lineup, you can get your team, all your team in there for the heal, too. I mean, yeah, it's funny, just in general, how we're talking about these drafts. I mean, that's one way I think you can tell that we're talking about two just amazing teams. It's like, well, they need to ban this hero, and this hero, and this hero. You only have 5 bans, guys.
Yeah, that's why it's so tough, and that's why it's really interesting to see what they've prepared. I mean, you have to expect you're going to give away some of these really good and trademark heroes. Darkseer coming out once again in this game.
Looks sort of similar to game 2 we saw from Team Secret, only this time Gyrocopter is banned out, and I don't think it's likely that they'll pick up a Crystal Maiden.
Honey, you kind of gave me a weird look when the Darkseer came out there. What do you think about this?
No, the impression I have on the Darkseer pick is that you want to ease up on your short lane. Or, I mean, I agree with Ben that it's not 100% sold on the Naga Siren as a carry, but I do think Darkseer puts a lot of pressure on towards the short lane of Evil Genius here, where they have to be dealing with that. So you can't just roam around the map. You can't just help up some mail a lot without, pressuring your carries lane. And we've seen in the last game, Fear was under a lot of pressure, and he did not seem to have the greatest impact that he had to have in the last game.
I would like to see them go back to like Shadow Demon on PBD and Lina on Fear. I think they had a lot of success with that during like a brief few weeks, and it's exceptionally good at dealing with the Darkseer.
True, yeah.
Very true. So we'll see. I mean, they do have many choices left. There's quite a bit of time left for EG.
Yet again, we have to talk about this Sumail hero. I feel like when you start getting Queen of Pain, Leshrac, Shadow Fiend, Storm Spirit all banned out, we start talking about the Zeus. I don't think you'll see the Tinker again. We have seen Sumail on Lina and Magnus in the past, but they've kind of had mixed results. I really, really do like EG going back to the Earthshaker, this time in conjunction with the Tusk rather than against. But 27-5, again, record for PBD on that hero. You also might see this with Universe in the off lane. Although just based on what they picked up, I think you're going to see a Universe on Tusk with PPD back on the Earthshaker.
I'm actually not too opposed to the Tinker pickup because they have the last pick this time around, so they can sort of just hold for it. And I think he did really well last game. He farmed incredibly fast. He kept up with the anti-mates even after the Battle Fury. I don't think Sumail was the...
Oh, no, not at all.
Well, I mean, it was the anti-mage that really made some trouble for EG. And like you said, Jacob, if you wait, I don't know if Secret will necessarily pick that preemptively going in. So maybe they'll have that chance for the Tinker. But so far, what we have is still pretty open for EG. And meanwhile, they've already covered their bases. They have all that lockdown. If they want to fight, they can.
I actually like the anti-mage pickup for EG. Yeah. It's good against Darkseer, which
actually,
Sven struggled a lot against last game. Like the Ion Shell really hinders his farm, whereas it can be dealt with pretty well by anti-mages, and also pretty good versus Naga and Keeper, good against core Naga, that is.
All right, and again, I'm still going back to what's Sumail's hero going to be, because you've now got one more mid option taken away. No, I mean, certainly the Tinker was not the problem last game, but we talked during the draft. There you go. There you go. What
right
a call.
on, Ben. Anti-mage coming out immediately for EG. Now, Kai, as Alan was mentioning, I mean, a lot of options already kind of taken away from Sumail. What are you expecting here?
I mean, generally, I would like to state that with the Lina pickup, you could opt towards Keeper of the Light can now focus towards the jungle again, where he can have, he's just going to farm up and potentially axe again, like what he pretty much did in the previous game. And then you have Naga in the core position, but they're still not sold on it, where Naga could still go towards Lina could still go towards the mid lane if something would occur in the draft of EG here. But generally, I would say that Lina's on the support side of Naga as core. You can start with a net into follow-up stun of the Lina, so it's a pretty good dual lane combo there, I would say.
Very true. I mean, yeah, we do have to keep in mind where exactly is that now going to be placed for Secret.
There really aren't that many choices left for Sumail. Like, so many heroes have been banned out or picked. And I think Tinker is probably the best option.
I mean, that's kind of the only option left now. I mean, Puck being banned out too. Really, where do you go from here for EG? You can see they're in really deep thought.
I mean, Zeus is the one hero left that he's really just had some absolute knockout games on. Magnus he's been good on, but also looked a little shaky in some other games.
I like Zeus. I think he's pretty good against illusion-based heroes.
I think if it were a different team, they would pick Viper, but I don't think that they really pick that at all for Sumail.
All right, they're actually just going to ban the Viper out themselves. It's a secret. The Bloodseeker coming out for...
So that is a Lina mid and a Bloodseeker on the short lane?
I think so.
Yes.
So they kept the options open, and they could still switch it around. I do assume that EG was still semi-sold on core Naga here.
Rupture is a glorious thing against anti-mage.
It really is.
Yeah, it is. There's no better way to put that.
Yeah, and of course, Bloodseeker being quite successful for Team Secret. They are also ahead. And there you go. As you guys mentioned, Zeus kind of being the only choice left, but also not a bad pickup for EG. So, ladies and gentlemen, everyone here in the stadium and also at home, we are ready for game number 4. This could be the last game of ESL 1 Frankfurt 2015, but we'll have to find out if EG can tie it up and go to the very, very last game. Let's find out with our casters over on the stage.
That's right, let's get it underway as we go into what could be the last game. Will the sun set on the hopes for one team? Or will it rise with the night? Okay,
my poetry have the sun that's kind of setting here, but I know you're trying to make this as epic as humanly possible, Toby. I think the draft speaks for itself here. I mean, this is the 4 games and 4 drafts that are all completely different for each team. I have to say, I'm loving Team Secret. As they were talking about the analyst desk, they could potentially switch up their draft at any time, and I feel like this is one of the most notable things that both Evil Geniuses and Team Secret do, is when you watch them draft, they leave themselves very open, very versatile picks. They like to pick up heroes like Naga Siren, right? That can both be a support as well as the potential 1 position. Earthshaker is another good example of a hero that goes from support to core, and you can pick it up early to leave yourself options. Towards that last pick, you had no solid lockdown in what exactly Team Secret were going to be running, and that Bloodseeker happens to be a solid last pick that counters Evil Geniuses pretty damn well, most notably on the Anti-Mage.
Yeah, and that was what they were searching for. They needed something to control up Fear's Anti-Mage. For now, let's actually have a bit of a quick run through of our lanes and see what's going on. So I can head up to the top lane of EG to kick it off. And you see the core. It is the Anti-Mage of Fear. He'll be babysat by Owie2000, taking the role as the Lion. As Nahaz was saying, the unbelievable win record for the Earthshaker played by PPD. Sumail will take up the little guy with the stash. Also looks very much like a Mario character. It is Zeus. And that leaves EG's final hero universe, while Secret are actually running a little bit more of aggression, which I love. They're actually pulling out the Lina core on the back of S4. That puts Kuro into the role as the Naga Siren. More help to help him out. That's going to be Puppy as the Keeper of the Light once again. Zaya's the Darkseer. And the last one, Arteezy, Bloodseeker. And now they run. Already Fear being set up. Kuro has the Iron Shell on him. They got to be careful with the Riptide damage in the Illuminate. It actually misses all the heroes of EG, but Fear starting to blink. He'll blink himself up. The attack will disjoint. Only barely surviving. He does grab the bounty rune, however.
Fear spent so much time there. I was waiting for him to level up that blink, and it just seemed to take forever. But he finally does get out. The problem is he's going to have to burn through a large share of those tangos. So the bounty rune does come at a pretty expensive cost. I love the way the Secret fought that, though. With Naga Siren on the front lines, one of the tankiest heroes at level 1 due to an okay HP pool, but it's really that natural armor that Naga Siren has that allows her to be a front line.
Sumail and S4, they're just battling it out. The Light Striker Ray is going to connect again from S4. Sumail dropping low. He's still got Arc Lightning available, but no real consumables, and it's actually buffing up Bloodseeker. Keep your eyes very, very close on Arteezy, because this is how Secret loves to play. This is Slave just off target from S4. This is how Secret loves to play, but EG get the buff up too.
Yeah, they're hoping to be able to, I think with this 2-man aggression here, the dual lane, they're hoping to be able to keep the Earthshaker locked in that top lane, but he's spending a lot of time middle, as you can see.
Sorry, S4 should be really careful about PPD.
No, he certainly should. That's exactly what I'm saying. But the problem is Sumail doesn't have the mana right now. He's waiting for that bottle to come out to him. Once he has the bottle, then maybe if they get a block off, they could go for a kill. But it kind of relies on them having Lightning Bolt against Zeus, especially in those first 3 levels.
The surge up, instantly the stun comes on Kuro. There's no ensnare, there's no control. So this kind of combo they're trying to do with the Naga, Riptide, Iron Shell, it's becoming rather difficult. Okay, now your opening's there. PPD's got the vision. Look for the fissure on mid. He holds it. Does S4 know? S4 knows.
No, he
He's got
definitely
perfect
knows.
vision.
Yeah, but here's the thing, right? Zeus doesn't have that much burst damage. He went for the 101, which is very natural for Zeus, and then he goes for the second level in Arc Lightning because it's really good for CSing with. Level 1 Arc Lightning, you spam it out 3 times, it leaves the range creep with 1 hit for a deny. Level 2 will actually kill the range creep, so it makes a pretty big difference in both experience as well as CS in general. So Sumail doesn't actually have that much burst damage to really threaten S4's life. They would need an incredibly good block off to actually kill him.
How about an Invis Rune to set up for that block
Well,
off?
that's exactly what they could use
Zai,
to kill us.
start on top lane. They're trying to burn off a lot of his mana. He's still able to surge away, so Zai will survive to fight another day.
Yeah, Zai's going to have a pretty tough time mana management-wise. He's up against 2 different heroes who burn through mana. Lion, you'll see him pick up Mana Drain at level 2 just to get that little bit of extra assist in taking away the mana of the Darkseer.
Keeping my eyes on bottom lane too, because Puppy, we have to keep in mind that Koro's spending most of his time on the top lane. PPD is still waiting to have a gank on S4, and Sumail still doesn't have that level 4 yet. But the fact that Kuro is up here means that Puppy's able to pull through and get solo experience and having to stack the jungle and Illuminate farm, which means the progression of Keeper of the Light is a lot quicker. And he's trying to push the creep wave into Universe or harass Universe out as well. So there's a lot of control in the bottom lane. Universe is still finding experience, which is great for him. But it just means we're getting a little bit quicker levels on that Keeper of the Light. Now PPD in towards the middle lane, coming in behind S4. Sumail, he's got the Lightning Bolt available, and the Light Striker Ray will connect on Sumail, but there's your Fissure. Arc Lightning and Lightning Bolt, do they have enough to kill off S4? He's pretty low, but Sumail, yeah, he knew it wasn't enough. He threw out another Arc Lightning, because he was going to get more damage out of that. PPD, not enough mana for another Fissure, as it's coming off cooldown.
And
So
this is the disadvantage, right? This is the disadvantage for going for that extra level in Arc Lightning. It means you still only have level 1 Lightning Bolt at level 4. That's only 100 damage. If he'd actually leveled up, maybe they could have killed Lina and committed for that one. Unfortunately, not the case there. At least they put pressure on S4. He had to go all the way back to base, which leaves our Zeus plenty of time to farm up. They don't necessarily need to kill Lina if they can force him out of lane.
Kuro too far away from Zai to get that surge, but he will be able to ensnare on PPD. The Fissure will fly out as well, but doesn't block. But that's not a bad thing, because Ao is coming in from behind, and they might have more support. Yup, it's Sumail rotating up. Zai could be in trouble. Surges away, the Lightning not going to stop him. In fact, Kuro turns with the Iron Shell into Sumail with the Bottle Charters and the stuns. S4 trying to buy some space. Light Striker Ray splits the heroes in 2, but doesn't hit either of them, allowing Sumail to get the first hit, and Zai has to chase him down. Is there enough damage with Fear now turning onto S4? Light Striker Green on Aoi, but Universe to shot, killing off Darkseer, now into the snowball on top of S4, but Arteezy, he's still here, is so low that S4 down for the count. Aoi's low, but this means Arteezy can really start the mop off. He's hit level 6, he's got Rupture available, he's killing up Aoi 2000, 1 attack, and that should be all it really takes. More support, Universe going, he's on the high ground, hits the Illuminate, Universe trying to run back into safety of the tower, and the Fissure area of PPD. Able to do so, but what a rotation in from Arteezy. And what a time to have level 6 as well. He's not even 5 minutes into the game.
Unbelievable. The amount of action that we see in these games. Everyone is rotating as much as possible in the first 10 minutes, and game number 4 is no different, man. Again, Universe as well as the Bloodseeker, both coming up from that bottom lane all the way to top just to be a part of that. Good read from Arteezy. A long, drawn-out fight, but he saw, okay, if I TP in, there's so many heroes low, I can take advantage of that, and sure enough, double kill. An excellent start for a hero. That is the definition, I think, of a snowball carry.
And now they actually are able to move him out with these quick kills. He's able to go into the jungle and start farming this up, and this gives space to Kuro on the top lane to try and catch up to his level 6, get the solo experience. And Fear, he's a little intimidated by the fact that Kuro is just standing inside the lane. He's not quite sure exactly what he's up against because the Bloodseeker is missing, because Rupture is available, and if he gets caught by this, potentially is his death.
And here's a little bit of in-depth mechanic knowledge. For those of you guys who don't know, Rupture actually does hurt blinking heroes. This is why I said it was a counter to the Animage, right? The Animage, you have to blink over 1300 range in the space of 0.25 seconds in order to get in order to dodge the damage of Rupture, essentially. Notice that Fear, he can only blink, maxed out blink only goes to 1150.
Middle lane Arteezy, he's picked up a haste rune, they put the Iron Shell on him, and PPD is walking to Arteezy. The problem is, he didn't see him. He backed up just before PPD showed himself out the tree line, and this is because we are during nighttime. The vision is very restricted.
Anyway, it looks like we're going to be seeing, of course, straight Battle Fury for the Animage, actually ignoring Treads for now. A lot of Animages right now prefer to go to treads. The early stats are really efficient for you to farm up some neutrals occasionally, but also the presence in lane is pretty big as well. So I'm a bit surprised where goes that.
Fisher gonna connect on S4. It's on the wrong side, but Somali's got the ulti available. They need the shards to connect to have enough straight burst damage up against him, but the TP took too long for Universe to arrive in the mid.
The Earthshaker Tusk combination, as much as they were talking about how Earthshaker is really good versus Tusk a lot of the times for the counter initiation, early on, the combination of Icicle Shards as well as Fisher can actually play really well. Just because you miss the Fisher block doesn't necessarily mean that you can't still block him out with the Icicle Shards thereafter. So look for that combination potentially on that middle lane. It's what they were looking for. Unfortunately, Universe just TP'd in, perhaps it's second too late. Top lane still going really well for Team Secret, though. They're getting a lot of experience out of this and a lot of farm. They're putting pressure on the Animage as well, who was forced into that early ring of health. He'll probably go into treads after this. He just needed that extra regen to deal with the harassment.
And once he has that life back, maybe it's okay. Secret can back up. He'll get the space to farm up and he'll finish the full Battle Fury. There's those treads you were talking about. But he's still in a good time, Fear. He's okay with this. It's just the rest of EG that have to try and find some openings. There goes the Thunder God's Wrath. Scouts out the fact that S4 trying to come for the rune. And Sumail, he definitely wants this one. And PPD is happy to spam out Fissures, primarily because Sumail can just give him the Arcane Brute trigger as well. So there's a lot of mana that can come in between EG.
Universe has got to make some big plays here. He's about to pick up his level 6. In fact, they're going to go for the Smoke Ink now. This is perfect. They need to go up to the top lane. They need to address this Darkseer. With level 3 Ion Shields is taking its toll on Fear's farm just ever so slightly. It is keeping him completely out of the jungle entirely, and it's also forcing him to miss a couple of CS against the tower.
Here comes your Snowball in. They're chasing after Kuro. The Shah doesn't welcome him, but the Fissure does. Zai can't come in, and also the support and keeper of the line isn't really there. Maybe he can move up further. Puppey, he's got Blinding Light available. Kuro TPing out of the trees. The Mana Void will end up cancelling it off. The Blood Right has also arrived. PPD, Artee's in the middle of the fight, able to find a pick off on him. Meanwhile, back in the river is Sumail on S4. The Laguna Blade, there's no mana available for it, but S4 with his point up in Fiery Soul. There's the damage there. Last Strike Array, he's got him! 114 life. Puppey will be able to sit there and watch it all happen. And even pulling back to the front lines, because yep, there's the recall. So S4 gets full bottle charges back up again. Can even give a charge over to Puppey. And yep, they'll be happy to go.
They're going to find AUI behind the tower as well. Arteezy wants to go for the dive. He needs a couple of hits, though. And unfortunately, the damage was not enough to make the reveal on AUI, who just TPs out instead.
Because if they had the reveal, then the Darkseer potentially could have gone for the back. Cancel the TP, middle lane, Snowball in from Universe, got the Walrus Punch available as well, sending S4 up in the air and with a Sigil, trying to slow down the retreat, but Kuro arrives with the Illuminate connecting, hits on the Riptide, and the Slave Sumail, a very injured man. He was just hoping enough damage could be done to S4. He could just go with the Lightning Bolt and the Thunder God's Wrath, and S4, well, Sumail would have had to go to high ground. He lost the vision on S4 as he went into the tree line. They do have that dire Observer Wall, but doesn't see far enough over to the cliffside to keep the vision on S4 where he went.
Yeah, Sumail understandably was a little bit nervous about going up that hill. That was a beautiful Icicle Shards block, and if they could get uphill, throw out the Lightning Bolts and the Ultimate Zeus instant kills S4. But at the same time, if he so obviously just shows where he's going to be running, he's going to be hit by the Light Strike Array, and probably the Laguna Blade from the lean, and Zeus would be the first to fall there. So good choice not to go in for that kill. It's still, though, Team Secret with the aggression slightly staying ahead of EG every step of the way. And obviously, as you're picking up that extra kill, you're going to start snowballing pretty heavily, most notably on Arteezy, who already has the hand of Midas treads. He's 3-0. He's got the top CS on the board as well. This guy has some of the highest net worth you will see at the 10-minute mark.
You can look at the other part of that angle as well, which is look at the low net worth over on EG. Like, PPD is still only, okay, now he's level 4, but he's not really fighting much more. And yep, that's a blink in, but missing the Light Strike Array. Is it worth the Laguna Blade? Do they have enough damage? No, they do not.
No, there's no way. Lena's a potentially good counter to the Animage later on to the game because of the pure damage, but obviously early on, that damage, the Laguna Blade just doesn't do anything against that, even level 1 spell shield.
Okay, so how does PPD get himself back into this game alongside of Aoi 2000? Normally, it's a little bit more greedy, like Lion used to have a blink dagger. Where does he find the space?
It's got to be coupled with Universe. Universe has got to find the openings for snowball plays, whether it's bringing the supports in or not, and then having the Zeus ultimate on top of that. So they can actually go to any side lane and still feel the effect of that Zeus mid through the Thunder God's Wrath. They just need to find pickoffs with the off-lane Tusk. You compare that to the dual off-lane of Team Secret with the Darkseer, Naga Siren. They are way more comfortable with sitting back and farming as opposed to EG, who need those kills.
Well, EG's coming for it. They see RTZ, just lightning bolt harassment from Sumail. But the ping came out on both PPD as well as Universe. And was scouted out for a short period of time. As maybe now the bottom battle for the, well, it's only a bounty rune, but S4's making a play for it. Snowball down. Koro turns on the Song of the Siren. If they get up on high ground, they seize Sumail. Yep, they're not going to try and battle this. They just take the rune and get the hell out of Dodge.
Yeah, again, Team Secret, no need to fight if you don't have to. Go ahead and prolong this game. I mean, even look at a hero like Puppey, right? Like, he's playing the Keeper of the Light. He's the hard 5 position for Team Secret, and yet he's still getting a lot of farm because he's pushing in the top lane. He's farming up neutrals. This is what a Keeper of the Light can do. If they get space, every single one of these heroes can farm.
So all you need is space created. This is what you're saying. They might be able to.
That's why they're trying to utilize smokes and go for these pickoffs, but they're just not finding anything. Team Secret are always outmaneuvering Evil Geniuses. They always have that response.
And with no more smokes for 6 minutes, this is a big smoke to blow unless they can find something, and they do. They find Puppey. The Fissure Stunner can actually hit Arteezy as well. Zeus ensuring the kill by throwing down that Thunder God's Wrath. Also reveals just how much help the Secret were bringing in. As they bring in Koro. But they needed something, and they got something. It just wasn't absolutely fantastic.
Yeah. Just note, like, Team Secret, even though it was just a straight, simple pick-off on the Keeper of the Light, I think something that Team Secret do probably better than any other team is their teamwork and responses, instant responses with TPs.
PPD? No, he won't Fissure. I thought maybe he could cancel the TP out from Arteezy, but he didn't have vision around the tree line. So there was no vision there.
I mean, this is a Naga Siren game, but it's a Naga Siren support, yet Team Secret are still essentially ratting out Evil Geniuses. Coddle pushing top. They're trying to chip down towers bit by bit. Every single lane is feeling pressure, and EG are just kind of scrambling to find a kill somewhere to relieve some of this pressure. But they're not actually getting the right heroes. They got the Coddle, but that's nothing. That's peanuts compared to the rest of Team Secret.
And how do you even find the right heroes? Like, Aoi just lost half of his life from, well, even more than half of his life from one Illuminate while he's defending the bottom tower. You can't even stand close to the Keeper of the Light. He's a level 4 Illuminate Coddle. Puppey is having the greatest time ever.
Yeah, it certainly is. Their fallback, I mean, I think they've lost enough control in the early game that they're eventually just going to have to give up on going for kills because they're simply going to be out-farmed too heavily. Their next play is going to be falling back on the Animage, who gets, like, once he gets his 3rd item. So it might be that EG, even though they don't really have the heroes for it, it might be just EG having to sit back and play a little bit more passive and just wait for the Animage to come into the game, which is such a shame because there are 4 other heroes outside of the Animage were picked up specifically. They were designed even just to be able to fight in the first 25 minutes of the game and establish dominance.
Well, they have to right now to be able to at least have the intimidation they can find in front of their tier 1 towers in the mid and the bottom. Because if they start losing more towers, like Lion just had to deny that bottom tower, they're losing map control, and to Animage, that's practically death. He needs to control up these camps. We saw how Arteezy played that Animage where the second he could, he would jump into the Radiant jungle. If he had to, he could blink himself back to his own tier 1 towers and then say, support will come and help me out. But he was always about manipulating the map control area.
Yeah, just a small example, like Darkseer picking up the mech. Just compare the 2 offlaners, right? Tusk is supposed to be a bit more of a pick-off hero.
S4's going for Light Striker, the 4-staff in time gets himself away. There's no Thunder God's Wrath damage, but Aoi 2000 also no mana for a big, and now he does. They kill off Arteezy, ending the big spree. Aoi's able to do it, and that's that killing you're talking about, while AM is still farming up. It's just 200 gold away from having that Battle Fury.
There we go. Evil Genius is not necessarily looking out for the kills, but now responding to whatever Secret do, and that is a bit of over-aggression, but this is almost a guaranteed kill from S4. This kind of rune this early on into the game, when you already have such a big level advantage, he's got level 2 Laguna Blade. He practically kills a hero with just his ultimate and his Dragon Slave.
Not a bad combo when he sees Sumail. Will he get there in time for the Yules? The answer is no.
Still
looking for someone else. That observer ward's watching Universe moving back. It will time out now, so he won't see anything else. But he's going to find PPD.
Oh, wow.
But there's a sentry ward from PPD, so he knows that S4 is there. And in fact, S4 realized it too. The way PPD twitched on that Earthshaker, it was just an instinct reaction to the fact that, oh my god, there's actually Alina here.
Yeah, EG, I mean, I believe they did have some sense of what was going on there. So good movement, I suppose, from EG, but S4 also just a little unlucky that he didn't find that opening. And Invisrune at that point should just be a free pickoff, but couldn't find the hero, just slightly out of range of most notably the Zeus. If he got that Yule Scepter to stop the TP, free kill, essentially.
Well, Animage has this Battle Fury Fear. 3 minutes behind where Arteezy had it during the previous game. But still going for the same build-up, so again, looking for a Vladimir's offering. You are on the dire sides, you're happy just to jump in and try and do Roshan by yourself. Obviously you want a little bit of help though. But going up, actually even taking Roshan up against Naga, Coddle as well as Darkseer. Even then, like, you gotta add Blood right on top of all of this. And Sumail, real trouble for him. Universe, considering actually rolling into this one, Sumail, they could push him out with the shards, but Sumail, well, there's your shards, there's your fissure, but you've already lost your Zeus. And Koro, well, Yule Scepter up again. S4 still got Laguna Blade. He wants Universe. He's going to claim him, and does with style.
Couldn't even get off the snowball in time. The chain there with the Yule Scepter, as well as the Light Strike Array, was enough to be able to hold him in. And now they've got an opportunity that they really wouldn't have expected this early on to the game. The chance to be able to take down, maybe not take down this tier 2 tower, but at least bring it pretty low. The chip damage already down to over half of its HP.
I think they actually can kill it. PP doesn't actually have mana to throw out a fissure. He's sitting in the back lines almost as an intimidation factor. Once the Soul Ring goes, he will have fissure. But when you have Arteezy drag on top, the blind line pulling him back. Owie, Finger of Death still on cooldown for 2 more seconds. They Yule Scepter him up, and S4, follow up Light Strike Ray, and the Light Right is down. Thunder God's Wrap has a great back end. Will Sumail have enough damage on the side? There's Fear with a double kill, making the most mana void, but it's a BKB on the Bloodseeker. He's free to move where he wants. So Arteezy will take a double kill as well. Retreating away, the shards try and lock him in. It does find Arteezy, and with that sigil behind him, he can't run quickly. Now they snowball after him. The Blood Ride is up, and a Sumail Universe going on him with a Finger of Death. The damage is enough, and Sumail will take the kill. A big one, a large amount of money for him. And now you see the double blink daggers arriving in for EG.
Just to articulate how important that last pickoff was, Universe snagging the Icicle Shards made that fight okay for Evil Genius. This game was rapidly snowballing against them, but they managed to get just a 1,700 gold swing purely off of the Bloodseeker kill, and also a large amount of experience, about 1,600 as well. So that pickoff was so critical. Otherwise, Team Secret would have probably just walked away, okay, happy with the fight at middle. We managed to just give ourselves even bigger side of an advantage than we expected this early on into the game. I mean, you just look at EG's lineup. Team Secret weren't supposed to be in the position that they are right now. I mean, if they were ahead at all, it would be very minimally. But for 20 minutes into the game, over a 5K lead and 3,000 experience on top of that, it's a massive, actually. I think that's bigger than the numbers really show. Especially with a lineup like Team Secret's, which, again, every single one of these heroes, if they get space, is able to farm up, and that's exactly what Team Secret have with this aggression.
Universe, the Taskar follows up the Haze Stream, battling up against Koro. He's already used most of what he's got, but the Sigil make it hard to chase it down. The Fissure cancelling the recall, so Koro's stuck here. At the same time, the Illuminate will only hit PPD. And that Fissure's still there, they couldn't chase any further. But they're fine with that. Universe able to steal the Haze Stream, he's happy.
Yeah, the Vladimir's picked up by our Animage with the Battle Fury already up. So he's still getting a good amount of farm. Jump in. Ooh, Jesus, Universe, hello.
It's like he's just trying to be over-aggressive. Force movements in from Secret that don't have to come out.
No, that's exactly what he wants, right? Like, that kind of player is never intended to try and get kills. He's actually in kind of a questionable position there. If S4 was there with the Yules, he's dead. But he is just forcing rotations from Team Secret. Now you know, hey, most of them are going to be middle. Try and split push. Try and push out that bottom lane. Give us some space to find farm.
Well, they've managed to do so. PPD's also having a bit of a wander around, trying to find an opening. It's going to be both Kuro and S4 coming down to defend the bottom lane. The Observer Ward. There is a Sentry Ward down, however. So if Secret walk over there, they can get rid of that Obs Ward. But for now, it's doing the job for EG. They can see what's coming in from behind them. And PPD hanging in the trees. Kuro's walking in. Song of the Siren is available. But in comes Fear. And they've got Puppey dead to rights before it even starts. Thunder God's Wrath gives them vision. And the Yulset from S4 will save him. But in comes just Snowball. Kuro has to slow this down. But the Sigil is up. And they're just making it very difficult for S4 to get himself away. They just try and walk it off with Kuro. But now Aoi jumps in. Finger of Death is up. They're going to take one. They're probably going to take two. It's a double kill for the Anti-Major. Kuro. Finger of Death. They find the kill. EG. Momentum has been gained. And Secret lose yet another engagement. There's 2 in a row now, and they're actually going to lose Roshan, which is more critical.
Oh yeah, I mean the pick off on the Darkseer, I would say, or at least the ending kill at the end of a team fight, they get the Darkseer kill. It meant they stopped the progression of Team Secret. That last team fight means now the momentum is going the way of Evil Geniuses, especially if they can get an Aegis in their hands. They can go ahead and try and play aggressively with the enemy, who normally, at this point in time in the game, isn't really looking for fights because he wants his Manta first. It's such a huge upgrade, but with an Aegis, you might as well utilize it, right? I mean, they have a lot of potential counters to him. Rupture, you've got a just mass burst damage out from the Lina, who's going to get an Aghanim eventually, but at this point, you've got that second life in the enemy. You might as well utilize it to try and get some towers.
You got that, and you got bonus damage. With the death of Roshan, that's the full Aghanim Scepter now done for Sumail. And with the Blink Dagger also on the Tusker, this was what happened during the last fight. You got a Blink Dagger over on Tusker and a Blink Dagger over on the Lion. The Anti-Mage isn't really in that much peril because your 2 primary controllers, the Lion and the Tusker, are capable of being in the right place at the right time. Because what are you going to do in really to counter it? You have a Darkseer, Vakwa, Yulset, and Nagasong. But most of this that we were talking about, you're committing to try and kill off the Anti-Mage to stop him from just carving apart your team, removing all your mana. Because once that happens, your mana pool's not really that great. Even Arteezy trying to run this Shadow Blade with everything else he's got. It's 300 mana for his abilities. That gives him an extra 200 in his pocket. But that's not much to speak of once you get 2 hits in from an Anti-Mage with mana burn.
There's more incentive also for Evil Geniuses to group up and potentially try and push towers and force fights. The Shadow Blade on the Bloodseeker means that he is obviously a very good pick-off source now. He can pretty much solo run around the map, and he finds someone like the Lion, the Earthshaker, can easily pick them off and slow down certain items like the Blink Dagger on their Earthshaker.
Well, if they can stop that, PPD, he's still sitting at 2.3k net worth. That's like the primary thing is the fact he's only got 400 gold going towards that Blink Dagger at the moment, and he's still having to be the sacrificial lamb. He put more money into the Lion, so he's capable of surviving. The Earthshaker throw a fissure. Later in the game, maybe then he can pick up a Blink Dagger if things go right. But PPD has to be the sacrificial lamb.
Man, I love this Glimmer Cape Naga Siren. It reminds me of like the Ogre Magi that we saw several patches ago, where he was just like a super tanky 4-position support where he was able to be right up in the enemy's face. The Naga Siren is essentially the same. Not so much an HP pool, though she's all right in that regards, but just because she has such high armor, and then with the Glimmer Cape, she has a natural magic resistance as well.
In comes Fear into the Radiant jungle. He's looking to try and creep skip this out so they can finish up the tier 1 town. That's exactly what they'll do. The shards will help him. But this is more and more money just rolling into the bank account of Fear with the tier 1 tower to drop 2. Even Sumail, after picking up the Aghanim Scepter, has another 1,400 gold. He gets the last hit in that bottom tower. So the next item will also arrive, and then I actually ask you a different question. What happens if you get Refresher Aghanim Scepter on the Zeus? How much life will there be for both the Coddle as well as the Lina to play around with?
Oh, or maybe even the Bloodseeker, right? Like, if he actually is anywhere nearby, and well, he has that Blood Rage on himself, you know, that's going to be bringing him below half HP.
Oh, they're fighting Puppey. He's bringing in more support. He gets attacked. Arteezy will be able to arrive Puppey low, and they turn on the Song of the Siren. It's wasting the BKB of Bloodseeker, though, but will it really matter? Back into a double Blood Rite. The big silence, Aoi. He's got nothing more to give. In fact, it's a double kill for Arteezy. Fear with a cleave. How much damage to Fisher? At bottom of the time, and there's your mana void. A double kill for him. The Blinding Light pushing him back. Kuro keeping out the tree lines. Can they hit him? You bet your Nelly he can. Triple kill on the Ice Shot. Blocking on Puppey. He'll go down. The damage is there. Ultra kill for Fear. And they'll take the tier 2 tower, which is already entered on the bottom at EG. They're already back in this game.
Oh, yes, they are. In fact, I would say that they're ahead in this game. Toby, Fear is going to be able to take down this Tier 2 tower. He's got Manta straight up, and that's really where the Animage is then finally able to enter in fights because he just blows up certain heroes like Support so quickly, and he was already doing that before. Oh, that Tier 2 actually trying to give away to PPD in order for him to get the Blink Dagger a little faster. Unfortunately, slightly off the mark, does go the way of the Dire. Still, though, with the amount of space that they've granted themselves, Earthshaker should be able to farm up the jungle in order to get that Blink Dagger, and then we have some major initiation outside of just the jump in from Universe with that Blink.
Fear could actually, if he wants to, yeah, he's going to. He's just going to take the Tier 1 tower in the middle lane. There's no fortification available for it, and he's still got this Agassi model for another minute. So even if Secret initiate on him, he's going to be fine. The Tuskar is right behind him to help him out if things get wrong. And in fact, all of Secret are coming back to defend this. This gives space for Aoi now on the top lane to find farm. And in fact, Sumail is checking it out.
So it's not just like you look at the net worth and it finally goes to the advantage of EG, but if you look in just team fights, right, so many of the items that Secret have utilized their net worth to pick up may just be completely countered out by EG's initiation. Such things as like the BKB from Arteezy, they could easily just jump him, and Bloodseeker, especially if he's got his...
Speaking of jump, they found him. The shards are coming in. Arteezy is the BKB, but Universe right behind him turns the Rupture on Aoi, who will just TP himself away to safety. The damage is not enough to kill off Aoi. As long as it doesn't walk, he's fine. But Arteezy is not. Down on the top, Zeus will find the kill, and yet another injection of money coming in to Sumail.
And look at that Tier 3 tower at the bottom lane. It's 27 minutes in, and it's almost down to half HP. He's got the Manta Illusions marching in to do some extra damage, and he's also clearing through the enemy jungle as well. Remember where we were talking about how greedy Team Secret's team is and the fact that every single one of their heroes can farm. Remember how much space they had. They had basically 70% of the map to utilize to farm, and that's rapidly being cut into with Animage occupying their jungle and EG holding on to their side of the map as well.
Man, just looking at, okay, we have a 28-minute Blink Dagger on the Earthshaker. At the same time, the Secret smoke up. This could actually be quite terrible for them. But even the graph, checking out the graph, if I'm looking at this experience graph, almost 10,000 experience swing just within the last, not even 10 minutes. EG have turned this game completely on his head and are rapidly approaching game 5 here. He's looking for this. S4's low. There's just done. Needs a Fissure Flop inside. Interrupted. The Fissure will still connect with the Light Strike Array, holding PPD in position. There will be a counter kill. But while this is going on, he still kept 5 heroes of Secret occupied on top, while bottom lane, Fear is approaching the Tier 3 tower. They have to bring people back for this. S4's the only one. He does have the Aghanim Scepter upgrade for the Lina Laguna. And in fact, Coddle's already come back too. Yeah, they'll hold.
Yeah, they'll absolutely hold.
Oh, no, they're going to jump him. There's a Finger of Death. S4, Mana Void. It wasn't enough. He basically had full mana with the 1 charges, so it negated the damage of Fear, and he has to blink himself into the trees and TP out. Aoi will not be so lucky. The Blinding Light into the Mana Break. Stun of Keeper of the Light, or Mana Leak, son of Keeper of the Light. Stop the TP out.
It's one of the best small technical plays you can do if you get like Force Staff as well as the Blinding Light, putting that Mana Leak on somebody and then pushing them around as much as possible in order to stun them is exactly how you can stop a TP. Arteezy just shy of being able to catch out Universe there. And Tusk, I love this. Lotus Orb picked up by him. This is so big. If you ever manage to get a Lotus Orb and reflect back the Rupture on Bloodseeker, I mean, what does the hero do at that point in time? Especially if he's already blood raged himself, he just sits there, can't do anything. Maybe pops his BKB for defense, but he obviously can't run anywhere.
He basically dies. That's really the answer to that. And Fear also now has more control. He picked up the Basher, so we're looking at an Abyssal Blade, the way where he can keep the Bloodseeker in range of him and not having to run after him all the time. Not to mention, it's just a nice little control effect on anyone that may be TPing out.
Yeah, and the reason we just keep on getting so excited about this is that Team Secret were in such... I mean, this looked to be the most dominant win of the whole entire series.
I was actually depressed. I thought we were going to have like a whitewash.
Yeah, exactly.
22-0 final, you could say.
Yeah, Evil Geniuses, in a series of incredibly smart maneuvers, managed to pull this game not only even, but potentially back into their favor. That being said, there's still plenty of opportunities for Team Secret. They still have the Naga Siren, who is one of the more powerful supports going into the late game. They've got a very farmed Bloodseeker. Even if he's not as farmed as the Animage anymore, he's still going to be a significant factor. And you also have the Laguna Blade with level 3 coming up in just a second. That's 950 damage. That cuts the Animage down to size real quick.
And even then, we have to keep in mind, Secret, one of their big things, their bread and butter of the ESL 1 tournament here in Frankfurt, has been their split push control through the Keeper of the Light recall. The fact you've got this Aghanim Scepter up and running, they can move across the map, keep the push going, and make EG wonder, is it worth the trade to try and force a lane in? The bottom lane's been pushed in by Animage Illusions, but here comes Puppey, pulls it back. Your top lane and your mid lane is already attacked. EG have to fall back. It's either they find a kill now or they fall back.
Tier 1.
Yep, why not, man? Why not?
Yeah, just cut the creep wave at the same exact time. You basically stall up the push in the middle lane. You get some free gold. And let's not forget about the bottom lane push where Secret do have to deal with that. So
1 minute till Roshan. Next thing to add to our timer.
this is absolutely where next team fight has to occur. I don't think Team Secret are willing to give it up because I believe Evil Geniuses with an Aegis will have the advantage to be able to push uphill. They'll get like Abyssal Blade plus an Aegis, and Animage can just blink and instantly kill at least one hero, and then they can go for a full Rax advantage. So I think Team Secret have to fight it.
They're waiting for that Observer Ward to get scouted out. S4 just enjoying his farm for now. And there it is. Actually found the Sentry Ward up on top. Or at least PPD threw the ward down. He's still not quite sure if he wants... Okay, he will. He'll blink out and take care of it.
Our crowd is getting very excited, Toby.
I would like to know what about. I can't see it.
Item pickups here. Okay, so talking about as we start transitioning maybe more into the mid-game here, Team Secret, I believe it is to their advantage to stall this game out late. It would most definitely be to their advantage if they were able to transition this Naga Siren from a support into a core position, but that doesn't seem like it's very likely to happen in the next 20 minutes. And Kuro is just too far down in the net worth chart. This is one of the downsides of going for the Glimmer Cape build, right? But I still believe that they have an advantage simply because the Animage is going to max out sooner than the Bloodseeker, and the Bloodseeker may be a little bit more powerful as a carry than Animage. Owie.
Yeah, real trouble. It is daytime hunting with an Aghanim's Keeper of the Light. They 5-man smokes and they pick off the Lion. Not a bad kill, but I'm still seeing Fear having all the space, and now a full Abyssal Blade is done. 33 minutes in. That control is there. And there's no real way for Secret to pick up new items from the Secret Shop unless they bring friends. Because there is a dire Observer Ward. Even if there's Tier 1 towers alive on top, it won't be for long. Fear's moving up to take care of it. The fortification will make him, like, slow up a little bit. But with the Thunder God's Wrath, they realize no one's there. He'll stick around and finish off the tower. Getting to the Secret Shop for the Radiant side is so hard.
This could be a very formulaic response from Evil Geniuses quite soon here. I think they've reached a tipping point of sorts. If they manage to smoke up, get a pick off, turn that into Roshan, grab the Aegis, go for another smoke play, find another pick off, they go uphill, and at that point in time, you just leave the Animage on the front lines, right? He's got Aegis and he's got a Lotus Orb on him. What do you do to stop him? He's just going to beat down your Tier 3s. You have to engage into that hero somehow, but it's sort of an impossible ask to engage into an Animage with Aegis and Lotus Orb on him and still walk away the winners of the team fight.
Refresher Rags is up, middle lane, not easy, getting dunked by PPD and Universe, and he is down. Animage will come in to kill secure.
At that point in time, Evil Geniuses, they should be going straight for Roshan here.
Yep, they may even find Kuro on their way down if Fear blinks it. Yep, they did see him leave, but they won't care. They'll go in, they'll finish up Roshan. And there's nothing Secret can do to stop them. Without Arteezy, they can't fight. Yeah. And they're not going to buy back on him to stop EG from doing Roshan.
All Team Secret can really do is just try and split push, which you can already see Arlena's doing up there in the top lane. He's also looking to be able to finish up that BKB, which is kind of a necessity, but at the same time, the BKB is not going to stop the Abyssal Blade Manta of the Animage. He blinks on S4, Abyssals him up, and then right-clicks him down with the Manta Illusions and potentially a Bash proc. He may never be able to use a Self-Heal Scepter.
I love the defensive nature from EG. You throw out Fissure blocks, you ensure every single illusion of Naga's not there. Top lane, Owie jumping on S-Ball with a finger of death, the snowball right after it. 2 quick kills on the cause of Team Secret. Right up, you've just picked up an Aegis Immortal.
You look to travel. Yeah, the Animage at this point in time, he can go ahead, like he dropped that TP scroll, so he needs to make up for that while he's still holding on to the Aegis. So he grabs the full Boots of Travel now, and this also means he can go ahead and deal with any sort of split pushes out from Team Secret, who can do a lot, especially with the Keeper of the Light, with the Aghanims. all that recall factor is important, but Fear can deal with that and still join his team when they go for a 4-man push. Now, I thought maybe they would try and push in with Alina dead, but I think they still have another smoke to utilize.
Double check. It's out of stock for 7 minutes, and
oh, that's because they just use it. Look at that.
Well, that'll be one way to do it.
That's
PPD and Universe sitting on the front lines, and well, Universe very close to Kuro, who's in the tree line, but not close enough to break that smoke as we now go into nighttime. So vision restricted again, and PPD preps up with an aggressive ward.
There's a big double damage rune in that bottom lane as well. Maybe Fear can utilize that for in the next 2 minutes somehow.
Well, is Fear the one you really want to give it to? Universe can bottle it up. He does a lot of damage when he jumps in.
Oh, sure. That's not a bad idea. Solely because of Walrus Punch, right? Most offlaners are not going to pick that one up, but it's one of the few times you may consider it.
Yeah, but they leave it for Fear. And now they'll try and come down for a kill, but Puppy's the only one really exposed on the bottom lane. And is he really even exposed when he's Illuminate farming out that bot lane? But with the DD rune, you can definitely force out towards the tier 3 tower and potentially even Rax. And yeah, Puppy's bringing back help. The TPs are already on the way in from the Darkseer. The Illuminate slows down the creep wave, but it still gets up to the high ground, and all of EG are here ready to fight. So Fear 2 swings and that creep wave is gone. Attack at the town, fortifications available, and there's your Lotus Orb, and Puppy mana leaking himself. Well, that's ironic, as he'll have to just stand his ground. There's a double ulti available from Sumail. Throws out one, actually, sorry, he already used the Refresher Orb, so that's not available. So there's only one Thunder God's Wrath to see where Secret were.
This is what the big advantage when you have control of the map. Yes, it's harder to take team fights pushing uphill, but what you can do instead is poke and prod at the enemy team. For example, like if you're questioning why Zeus popped that ultimate there, it's because they wanted to make sure they forced all of Team Secret back. And if they didn't, they would push uphill again. Once they saw, okay, Team Secret are all back, we forced them inside of their base, that's an economical loss, right? Because they're sitting inside their base, not farming up any creeps. We go ahead and back up, and now we approach at a different lane. Maybe we deal with the push at top, or we just take over neutrals.
Fear needs vision. More than anything else, Fear needs vision. He's sitting on top of the cliffside, but doesn't see anything behind the tower. None of the heroes from Secret are visible, and now just jumps in for the tower, stunned up. Again, the mana leak onto Poppy from the Lotus Orb. Fear is backing up in Universe, the front lines, and there's your jumping from Aoi. They found their spot with the Song of the Siren. There's 3 of them together.
Watch for the silence vacuum.
Well, there's no ride available for him. The Rupture, Sumail sitting back, and there it is. You're back in with the Illuminate. 3 heroes down for EG. One of them been reincarnated, and that is the enemies. They're waiting for him, and he blinks away in time. Zay's chasing Sumail into the tree lines, while Fear has basically left him to die. One lightning bolt available. Zay pretty damn low. Thunder God's Wrath on cooldown. The Blood Right's going to go. He's just being mana leaked out. Sumail's got nothing more to give apart from his life to Secret. Maybe the support from Fear. He runs in, but the Yulsep to control Lions like a Raven. PPD! The Echo Slam and the Fidget Control. As Fall getting stunned on the play line, almost pushing Fear out, but he is pulled back in, and PPD will drop. Fear has no mana. He's on the run out of here. Zay right behind him. He has enough for one blink, and now we're getting him across the river into EG territory.
That's one of those plays you want to go look at. Just communication-wise, Team Secret, the way they position, this is why EG thought they could actually take that with only 2 heroes. 2 heroes that have 2 big AoE abilities, both Echo Slam as well as Animage's Mana Void were still up. They could easily just wipe almost all of Secret there if Secret had the wrong positioning. But you saw, despite the fact that being a very clutch area, it's tough to fight in this sort of tunnel of death. Yet they were still able to do it because they kept themselves spread out enough. He couldn't find more than a 2-man Echo Slam and only a 1-man potential Mana Void. So it doesn't even throw it, just instead tries to get the hell out of there.
And a really big thing as well for EG is the fact that Secret, well, okay, maybe this is big trouble. If Fear can be controlled, there goes your man. Actually get the kill. 95 seconds on the sideline, and it was Arteezy that gets the kill. He's now up to 5.9k gold, claiming 812 just for his share of the kill on Fear.
People have theory crafted the new Bloodseeker to death, and that's why we saw like a lot of Bloodseeker Zeus at one point in time, but do not underestimate Bloodseeker Lina. The pure damage upgraded. Now he's going to find a pick off on PPD. Ooh, nice snowball save.
Yeah, they can keep him alive for a little bit longer. Blink up PPD. Disjoins the attack, but they've got the stun over on Universe and Sumail. How much damage can he do? Not a lot, especially when he gets instead up. Arteezy on the chase. The Fissure won't affect him while he's in BKB, and Sumail so low. He finds the kill. This is big for Secret. They might might be on the rampage. But
Secret simply outplaying Evil Geniuses every step of the way as we approach this 40-minute marker. Now they're going to be able to force buybacks by pushing uphill.
That they will. They had a huge advantage, and they're starting to rebuild it in just the last 3 minutes. They've prepared 10,000 worth of experience deficit, and now it's Arteezy. He's the one protected by the Lotus Orb. They bring down the Tier 3 tower, and they found Fear! He's in trouble! PPD with a stun, let's get him out. University close, and they actually push him up. They lock him out. Universe is in. Poppy's eye up in the air, and Koro stops the fun, holds the fun with the Song of the Siren. They're waiting to come back in. They're up on the high ground with Fear Lightning Ray, and they got him! He's down! 106 seconds! Universe in trouble! This could be it! Side being stunned up! They need more control! They need more damage! EG's backing up! They need more people! They've only got 2 players alive! Not a single buyback is available for any of the players who are currently dead, and this will be at least mid-racks, Cap!
This is going to be mid-racks, and usually I think it's absolutely 2 lanes of racks, potentially even mega creeps here. 80 seconds on the clock for an Animage. Evil Geniuses somehow have to fight around the Zeus spam in order to push Team Secret back.
And it is going to be one hell of an effort if EG can do it. There's your Thunder God's Wrath. Refresh orbs available. Go for number 2. And that's Bloodseeker down. S4 not in a healthy position either. BKB is protecting him, but they have to retreat out. The buyback comes in from Arteezy. They're going for round 2 with PPD up in the air. He gets the Echo Slam on Arteezy, but it will not save his life. No buyback. DJ! Secret will take the victory, denying EG another ESL 1 title. Then taking another big victory for Team Secret on land.
And the crowd going absolutely wild at a Team Secret win. Just as we thought Evil Geniuses were going to be able to push this to a game number 5, Team Secret show through and through, they're the better team.
And now, really, it's that time, Team Secret. Enjoy your moment and greet your crowd here at ESL 1 Frankfurt 2015. Your champions, Team Secret.
Much Toby and Kappa. What a finals indeed. The crowd all standing, giving a standing ovation to your ESL 1 Frankfurt champions here in 2015 after an intense 3-1 battle. EG picking up that first win in Game 1. Secret climbs back in. People wondered after Game 1, Secret, are they not bringing out their best game in this finals? What's happening to them? Secret jumped right back and said, we're still here. Our form never left. 3 wins in a row against EG, and here they go. They will go forward to pick up that trophy, denying Evil Geniuses once again for the ESL 1 trophy. Ladies and gentlemen, your champions for ESL 1 2015, standing proud and tall here, center stage, greeting the fans in the Commerce Bank Arena. Moment for Team Secret, each getting a chance to just lift that trophy and look at the crowd going wild. Such a performance from all of them. Of course, Arteezy coming back with that Bloodseeker in the last game, but really all 5 of them coming together. Just an absolute beauty of a best of 5 here in the grand finals of ESL 1. Really, we could not have asked for a better match as our last one this weekend. We came in saying that these were definitely the top 8 teams in professional Dota right now, and we saw that through and through every match. But we thought, we saw these 2-0s. Maybe some teams aren't in their best form, but Secret and EG absolutely put on a show for fans worldwide. Look at the fans here in the arena just all standing together. I mean, yeah, most of them sure came to cheer Team Secret, but after that match, anyone has to get up on their feet. Give them a round of applause, because no matter who you're cheering for, that was just an absolutely beautiful 3-1 victory for Team Secret. So, gentlemen, here at the PaySafe Expert Desk, I mean, what are your thoughts? Before we break it down, I mean, what are you feeling right now? Because all the fans are just blown away at what we just saw. Jacob, what's going through your mind?
Very well deserved. I think this is the true winner, and what a crowd to do it in front of. There's absolutely amazing experience to watch all of these fans cheering and applauding Team Secret. Just a phenomenal event.
Yeah, I mean, really just a moving moment for everyone, I think, here in the stadium. I mean, hopefully you guys are at home or feeling it too, because we can really feel the energy coming out from the audience. Ben, what about you?
I mean, very well played at Team Secret. I think that they just showed a lot. I mean, their draft is just really difficult to beat, even for a mastermind strategist like PPD, and they showed by and far that they are the best team here in Frankfurt.
And the Haas, I mean, we were so excited during the pre-show coming into this weekend. Didn't live up to the expectations.
Oh, the strongest tournament field statistically ever assembled, and that makes 4 straight LAN wins for Team Secret. 4 LAN wins in 2015, the most of any team, and I think you put it absolutely perfectly, man. I don't care what team you root for, you have to root for that brand of Dota that Team Secret played tonight. What an impressive, incredible, historic performance to take home the ESL crown.
Yeah, I mean, good way to put it. You really just have to give a nod in that brand of Dota. Not who was playing and not which player, but just what played out inside the game. Hani, what about you? I mean, also including the drafts. We have to give a nod there. I mean, we had a lot of fun theorizing. Hani, how are you feeling after watching this whole weekend of Dota?
We've seen beautiful Dota of Secret throughout this entire weekend, and you can just give it to them. There's little words to describe how well they played.
Yeah, you know, oftentimes when we look at tournaments and you have a pretty clear crowd favorite, sometimes the finals doesn't live up to the hype, because you're like, all right, the crowd favorites came in, they won 3-1, or as expected, they won 4 LANs in a row. Yeah, now it's all normal for everyone, but that's not, it was a dramatic win. As EG put up a really good fight and took them down in game 1, making things really interesting. Ben, but the fact is that they've won 4 LANs in a row. What do you think this says about Team Secret right now?
I mean, they're still not immortal. I think that EG made them look very vulnerable at times with the draft. And even in that last game, I think that EG should have won. But Secret, more consistent.
The thing is, Secret plays as if they're immortal, and that's what I really like to watch. Exactly. I mean, absolutely amazing. Especially, you know, the Secret was leading, and then EG somehow came back into this last game, and then
man.
I mean, you know, all of us wanted to see a game 5, I'm sure, but what a game 4 to close it out. Just these two teams trading blows back and forth. And I mean, you know, it's one thing to be a fan favorite because you're picking crazy heroes and you're running Tusket techies. But I don't think that's all there is to it. This team is a fan favorite because they are capable of playing absolutely perfect Dota. I still will hold that game 1 up as the best I've seen in 2015.
Yeah, you know, as you mentioned, it's not, everyone said, oh, we want to see the techies again, we want to see it again. We didn't see it in the finals, but you just saw the camera shot. We had fans wearing Cloud9 shirts, Fnatic shirts, Navi shirts, all saying,
how can you not?
Secret.
How can you not? If you are here in this stadium, you are on your feet cheering. That was one of the best performances I've ever seen.
Yeah, and another thing I think that you mentioned that's lovely about this finals is, yes, we were all waiting for a game 5. We wanted to go to the very end. We wanted to see the maximum Dota we could. But hey, if it's going to end like that, we can't complain. It was absolutely back and forth. We're in the dark, but it doesn't matter.
Turn out the lights. The party's over.
Yeah, the stadium, of course, right there. The fans cheering. And absolutely beautiful.
What a crowd. Unreal.
Really
I cannot say enough about these fans. I mean, this is a true championship atmosphere.
The crowds are going wild. The flags waving. I mean, from the very beginning, we did have a ton of Secret fans filing in, but it wasn't just Secret.
You didn't have to applause to Evil Geniuses as well, though.
Yeah,
they
absolutely.
Great throughout this weekend, and they deserve it.
Yeah, I mean, the fans right now, as Evil Geniuses exits the stage, giving them a cheer, too. I mean, EG, like you guys said,
Unreal.
One of the few teams to really test Secret here in the finals. They gave them a run for their money and said, hey, if you guys don't bring your absolute A++ game, we'll go ahead and take that trophy. And Secret had to step back and say, all right, you want to play the mind games a little bit from the draft? We'll match you on that. And that's why we had such a great game to break down for us, of course, for the fans at home to watch. Just absolutely wonderful Dota all weekend. Of course, you guys, I mean, I'm sure many people are going to want to go back and watch those VODs. Tell your friends, hey, I know you were like sleeping and you thought work was more important, but you're going to want to go back and watch these VODs, especially that final game number
Yeah, definitely
one.
games to watch. The combo between Daxi and Lina, the amount of synergy you have to have between two players to execute that, not once, but twice to kill off that anti-mage, it's such good play coming out from Sai and S4.
Yeah, and of course at the end, as we were mentioning, EG looked like they were going to climb back in game 4, and then in that mid lane, they just went for the song, and then the combo coming in with the wall blew everyone away. The crowd just started roaring. Secret was back in for the win, and they pushed from there on out. We will have a chance, hopefully, to speak to the winners here. I mean, see how they feel. I mean, they're on such a run going in.
Unreal. I mean, you look at this tournament, you look at these two teams that were there on the stage at the end, and you look out on this crowd. This is esports. This is Dota.
Yeah, I think that's a great way. And Hani, I love that you mentioned that we do need to give a nod to EG. Because, sure, Secret got their moment with the trophy. We're going to keep breaking down Secret for months to come. I'm sure everyone's going to look back and say, how did they do this? How did they manage to win LAN after LAN, even winning that ESL 1 Frankfurt? But EG, they showed up to play. They showed up to play this weekend. I mean, they went 2-0 in both of their quarterfinals and their semifinals. People thought, yeah, I mean, EG definitely a team that can make it to the finals, but they might have a tough time, especially with that side of the bracket. How do you feel about EG's performance this weekend?
They've performed great throughout the entire weekend, and Secret just has been this slight edge better than them, and you never know, like, it could have been another BO5, and the cards could have been different, but...
Yeah.
I mean, and let's not stop at EG, okay? We've got 7 teams that came in here this weekend.
That's true.
That
That's
are all
very true.
going to be a factor at the International 2015. And I mean, I think we saw a preview of the kind of Dota that we can expect in the months ahead. But man, I am just still, I stand absolutely in awe of the plays that we've seen this weekend and of the players that we've seen on this stage.
I mean, speaking of plays, of course, we've seen plenty of plays with all the Bruce.gg highlights and whatnot, but Ben, if we had to choose one, would you agree? Game 1 of the final is probably the most memorable game.
Definitely the best game I've seen here by far. It blew my mind.
Yeah, everyone backstage, hearing the crowds, everyone was talking about it, cheering them on. I mean, we were all losing our minds watching that game 1. It went for so long. I mean, Jacob, are you satisfied with it? I thought we saw some decent Dota this weekend.
I am way past satisfied. This has been perfect, absolutely perfect. I'm so happy to be a part of it and experience these guys most of all, and of course the teams on stage and everything. It's been absolutely phenomenal. And you know, I've been to a lot of internationals. We did this last year. We did it in New York as well. It's just always a new experience, and it's always the most amazing experience every time.
I would like to join on that. I would like to give the crowd a big shout out for everyone that came here. You've been amazing.
Yeah, you guys have been rocking it this weekend. And not just here, I mean, we've seen how much people are loving it at home, but of course here we see it, we hear it, we feel it directly, and I'm sure the players did too. We saw the players, I mean, even the teams who may have gotten eliminated on day 1, they were happy to come back and stay here to watch the games, interact with the fans that came to the Commerzbank Arena. Of course, hearing some cheers for Hani here on the expert desk. We've had a blast here on the PaySafe Expert Desk too, just breaking down all these games.
All right, I want to try something with you guys. I think that we don't do this enough in esports. Who's your MVP? If you had to pick one player out of the whole weekend, who's your MVP of the tournament?
I'm leaning towards Sai.
Oh, okay. I mean, Zai showed some. I do want to mention that we saw still a big difference in the tusk play of everyone else versus Zai.
Actually, no, I'm gonna go with Kurogi. The Wisp and then the Siren in the last game and everything. I think,
and the Rubik.
Yeah, and the Rubik. I think Kurogi should probably be the MVP.
I think Puppy.
Yeah.
Puppy with his drafts. I think like there were a lot of overlap in the heroes. Like we saw Naga Siren taken by Secret constantly in the late game. EG had to eventually just take Tusk because they didn't have a ban for it. And overall, his Keeper to Light was just spectacular.
What about you, Hani?
It's a tough decision. I'm not the biggest fan of MVP votes because to me, in the end, it's the team.
Fair enough.
Just played equally well.
I mean, the tough thing compared to, say, what other sports or competitions may do is that, we have very specific positions that affect everyone else a little bit more. You can't just have the carry. Oftentimes, if you had to pick the MVP, it's going to be the carry because they're going to have the top score and whatnot. But it's not just about who gave that hero to the carry. It's going to be the person who's doing the drafts, etc. But of course, we can't leave you out of this. You posed a question, but you're one of the experts here. I'm not, so I'm free from the MVP vote.
I want to start off by, before I say MVP, I want to start off by giving a big shout out to the managers and to 1437, who's just a great coach for Team Secret. We don't mention them a lot, but they contribute a lot. When you talk about Charlie and Conrad and Kelly, they contribute so much to these teams' success. But my MVP is S4, because I think when you talk about the drafting, when you talk about the shot calling, the thing that stands out for me about Secret is their team decision making is just absolutely, it's been near perfect in these games. I gotta believe that the man behind that TI3 run by Alliance has a lot to do with that. I thought individually, of course, he played outstanding, but my MVP is really the guy that I think makes Secret the team that they are. And I, by the way, agree with Hani. I think there's no wrong choice.
Yeah, well, At this point, you guys have mentioned 4 players, so I'll just put in my vote for Arteezy. I think he's MVP. There we go, all 5 members of Team Secret, MVPs here at ESL 1. Well, time to wrap it up, boys. What a wonderful weekend. I mean, starting, of course, with the seating bracket for you guys in the studio, then coming here to the arena. And again, want to remind everyone, if we have this event the same way next year, you guys should really check it out, because it wasn't just a tournament. We had the festival going on, the Secret Shop, of course, the bull riding, whatnot. But
you have to be here.
Some last words. How was this weekend of Dota for you, Jacob?
I think I said it best earlier. It's an indescribable feeling. You have to do it every chance you get. It's not actually over for all of us. We still have an after party to go to where...
It's very true.
We got, I don't know, can we fit 15,000 in?
Let's try it.
I mean, maybe we could just have it here. Maybe that's what we should do next year. But yeah, of course, it's not over just yet. What about you, Ben?
I mean, huge shout out to all the players, all the teams, all the fans here. And of course, I think we need to list them all. We have Cloud9, IG, Vici Gaming, Fnatic, Virtus Pro, EG, Secrets, and what was the last one? I'm missing one.
I was waiting for this.
Fnatic?
Fnatic. I think I said Fnatic.
Alliance.
Anyway,
Yeah.
Alliance. How could I forget? I mean, big shout out. I'm so glad that each and every one of them came here. They each displayed some excellent Dota, and I'm glad they had some more time to play aside from the BO3. I like the seeding matches a lot.
Yeah, and of course, you too, Alan.
I mean, shout out to really everybody involved with the event. This is just so, I feel unbelievably fortunate to have been a part of it, really. I mean, this is something that I do as a hobby, but I have really genuinely come to love. And we just have so many amazing people a part of the scene, including these 3 guys that I'm standing with, and hopefully a new face on the Dota 2 scene.
I had an absolute blast this weekend. It was just a beautiful weekend of Dota. Of course, all of you guys, not just here, I mean, you guys too here in the stadium, but all of you watching from home, you guys were just telling us constantly how exciting this weekend was. So thanks so much. Just kidding, honey. How did you feel? I was going to skip it right over. How was the weekend for you?
It was amazing. Like, there's so much you can add to this. I guess the one very outstanding thing to me is how many people from all nations came here together to enjoy this festival.
That's true. Yeah, we had a very diverse group of people, not just the players, but of course the fans once again. People coming back after last year's ESL 1 also. Well, thank you so much for watching. Of course, a huge shout out to all our sponsors too. And of course, ESL Dota is not gone yet. We're going to have another ESL 1 event coming up soon, so stay tuned for that. But for now, farewell to all you Dota fans around the world here from Frankfurt.
I gotta go now, guys. Gustav, try to get him to the hill. Nice!
Nice.